Hello again. In the last video, we had a look at how you could use a theatrical console to run the intensity of an nLight wall pod channel, which we use to run the house lights. So in a normal everyday situation, we have a nPWDM here that is turning on our white light, and we're going to call this the auditorium white lighting. And we also have a theatrical console that occasionally comes in to do special events. So here I have a hot DMX cable, and when I plug it in, showing that somebody is in the room doing a dance, a disco or something, we have something happening on the stage here. So if I unplug this, then the lights, the DMX lights, are just going to fade out. And when I bring my console and I make it active again, I have something happening on the stage. So the problem with this is when you were using, like we did in the last video, a handle on the theatrical console to control the house lights, you don't want somebody coming over and pressing the button on the wall in the middle of the event, bringing up the house lights, destroying the effect of what's on the stage. So let me show you how we can use the nPWDMX to use the presence or absence of a theatrical console being active in the room to set a profile scene to override the functions of the nPWDM or occupancy sensors or photocells or whatever you have. So to achieve this, what we're first going to do is go into Passcape. We're going to find our SNAPSHOT controller. We're going to open it up. And as you know, port B is our input port, and it's transmitting on Universe 1. And the SNAPSHOT controller itself has, as we did in the last video, set the trigger universe to be 1. So now we look at the scenes, and this is the red pathway arrow pushing onto the blue nLight network. And you see here are all the scenes. There's 16 of them that we can work with. Now, what's it look like over in sensor view? So we highlight the nPWDMX and we go to the input device and we go to its scenes. And here is scene 1. And we're going to make this scene console on. So let me just save that. We haven't done any programming on it yet, but I just want to show you that we are going to have this be a profile scene. So when the console is on, what are we going to do? So we are going to have a function here that tracks the presence of the trigger universe, which we set up in the root device. We send that transaction off. So now it'll be looking for the presence of a console being active in the room. So we see it's currently inactive. And if I plug in my lighting console, within a second or two, it becomes active. And if we look in sensor view at the scene, it's not active here, it's still disabled. That's because we haven't defined it yet. So, unplug my console, and what do we want this thing to do? All right, so we are going to make it a local profile scene, and we are going to first off turn off switch broadcasting. So switch broadcasting on my nPWDM 2Ps on switch channel 1, because that's the guy. Pole 1 is where my house lights are, and we are going to disable that. Now, we're not done yet. I also want to add another setting here, and because we don't want the distraction on the wall, seeing the little green LED, thinking, hey, what should I do if I press that? So we're going to take the LEDs and we are going to override them to off on both of the nPWDMs. So I'm still not done here. I'm going to add a third setting, and that is to take the house lights, override them to off, because like we did in the last video, we're going to use the lighting console to control the intensity of the house lights. So let's go to override, and we want to override off, and we want to make sure that our Neo, which is controlling our house lights, is checked, and at the same time any other presets can be overridden to off. So if we save this now, and then to demonstrate it, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our house lights. People are entering the room. Then it becomes time to turn on the lighting console and have it take over. So we're going to plug the lighting console in. And immediately you see that the house lights faded out and the lighting console started doing what it's doing on the stage. The LEDs on my wall pods have turned off, and I cannot override by pressing a button turning on the house lights. And when I unplug my lighting console, you see the house lights go back to where they were before, and the LEDs come back onto my wall pods. So now you understand how to take the presence or absence of a theatrical lighting console and have it trigger a global or local profile scene or preset scene. In the next video, we're going to look at the contact closure interface, which we have here extended on the demo box through this little RCA connector, and see what we can do with that. Join me then.